So, verse number 40. Now, here it's saying, Savdhan, beware. Now we are entering, the enemy zone. That enemy zone is nothing but lust, or we can call it Nitya Vairi. Nitya Vairi Nam, Krishna said, right? Eternal enemy. We are entering that enemy camp. Now, once we enter the enemy camp, what happens is we will soon find the location also. That's yay, we have found the location, right? And then what we can, once we find the location, I read the news today morning, it just, flash comes. So I don't go into detail, but the news flash I just read that they could subdue the enemies, the terrorists over there who were sitting on the top of the hill, and they could, defeat them. Similarly, the lust which is sitting in our head here inside us, we have to find the location. Where is it? So once we find the location, we say, yes, now we have to attack it and we have to subdue the enemy. If the enemy's hideouts are known, like the terrorists were hiding up the hill, initially they did not know. They were firing shells. From where it is coming, from the top it is coming from, exactly where they did not know. But if the enemy's hideouts are known, then it's very easy to capture them. So similarly, Lord Krishna is giving the clue to Arjuna. Says, you know what? I will tell you where, these enemies of wisdom, they are lurking behind. So we should locate it, and we should try to eliminate them. So, so where is that Nitya Vairi? Where is that lust located? It is located in Indriyani. Indriyani Mano Buddhi. So Indriyani means the senses, Mano is the mind, and Buddhi is the intelligence. Indriyani Mano Buddhi Asya Adhisthana Muchyate. So what does it do over there? Jnanam Avritya Dehinam. Jnana Ma Vritya Dehinam. What does it do? It covers the knowledge, the jnana of the living entity, of the Dehina, the one who is embodied. And what else does it do? Eta vimohayati. So what does it? Eta vimohayati means what? It is putting us in a vimoha. Means completely it is bewildering us. It puts us in, bewilderment completely. Like, this lust is developed because of I want to be the head. I want to be the leader. I want to do the way I want to do. I am the best. I know what I am doing is right. That is nothing but lust. That is nothing but that desire to move. And you don't care who is coming on the way, whether you are doing it properly or following anything or not. Nothing matters to you. You just want to follow. Krishna is saying that is Nitya Vairinam. You are not able to recognize that it's your lust. So it is sitting in three places for us. And it is doing three things. Three places, it is Indriyani, Mano and Buddhi. Senses, mind and intelligence. And what are the two things it is doing? It is covering our knowledge. The knowledge which tells us what is right, what is wrong. It doesn't discriminate only. Am I following the right direction? Am I doing the right thing? Am I going in the wrong direction? Am I hurting somebody? Am I following the rules and regulations? Right? This temple has some rules and regulations. We have to follow the temple's rules and regulations. But the moment lust settles in your mind, you don't care. It will not help you discriminate anything. It is covering the knowledge. It is bewildering you. So there are two effects that will happen. It bewilders, lust bewilders means what? It does not let us go towards the spiritual aspect. We stop thinking about spirituality. We start thinking about our own self-interest. And it moves towards more of sense gratification. Are my senses getting gratified? Am I getting the recognition? Am I getting the importance? Am I able to go out and party? Am I becoming popular among my friends? Am I the most popular among all the people around me? That's what happens when lust is there. So understand that it is nothing but lust. So we know where the enemy is now, right? SMI. SMI, instead of SIM, it is SMI. You can make it SIM also if you want to remember. Senses, intelligence, and mind, or senses, mind, and intelligence. Mind runs here and there all the time. It's very, very chanchal. We all know, right? In chapter 6, Arjuna says, Chanchalami mana Krishna pramati bhadradam. So he says, I can maybe win over that wind also, which is so powerful, but I can't win over my mind. So someone says, okay, you know what? New mobile has come in the market. It has that 3D feature on that phone, and it will allow you to visualize from different angles. One person had come to our home and he was telling me, you know what, we can do like this, and the camera moves on its own. We were all bewildered. Wow, what is the latest technology? So what has happened? Mind has got attached to that point. That, oh, when they move the camera, if the camera moves on its own, when the person moves, the camera also moves. Apparently new technology. It's an iPad. So it has attached to that point. Now it has formed an impression in my mind. Now it will remain there and it will keep popping up in my mind. So we all must have experienced this, right? That, from nowhere, some desire will pop up and it will not give you any notice also that I'm coming. So whatever we see, we hear, everything all gets stored over there. That's why both senses, that is the five senses that we have got, and the mind, they're called repositories. Repositories where everything is deposited. You see, you take from everywhere and deposit there. Repositories. Srila Prabhupada said, intelligence is soul's next door neighbor. Intelligence, Srila Prabhupada says, is in soul's next door neighbor. Such a beautiful point Srila Prabhupada has raised, right? And what does it do? It favors the lusty desires and it will let it fulfill it also. Oh, yeah, it's very important for you. Yeah, you should be doing it. You are right. You have done nothing wrong. Go ahead, keep doing it. That's what it does. So, what does this lustful intelligence do? It will make this living entity believe that it is this body. So, I have to do everything what the senses are saying, what his mind is saying, what his intelligence is saying. So that's what it has done for to us. From lifetimes, it is making us do the same thing. It is making us think that we are this body and we are all working on this bodily platform. Of course, let's not include self-realized souls and all the others. I mean, they are under the impression that I am the body and not the soul. So because of this, three enemies, three sitting places of this enemy, they are sitting in three different places. So when all the three are lusty, imagine, senses, mind, intelligence, everything is lusty, then what will happen? The real knowledge is getting covered completely. And what is the real knowledge? We know the real knowledge. So far we have understood. I'm not this body, I'm the soul. I'm part and parcel of the Lord, Mame Vam Shoji Viloke. I'm the servant of Krishna, Krishna's Dasa, Dasanudasa, and I want to serve Krishna. So these are the real knowledge, but we don't get. We are covered with ignorance. So all this is covered now. And living entity starts thinking what? I am this body. I have to serve this body. I have to do better sense gratification. I have to enjoy this. The mood of all of us, because of lusty covering, it is like that. Because we are in this material world, right? And we are under this Maya. And we are thinking that apparently we are thinking we are enjoying. After knowing where the enemy is sitting, now we want to know what? Next, now the army knew the terrorists are sitting on the top of the hill in that specific cave. Now, the moment they know where they are sitting, what will the soldiers do? They will find a way to conquer them, right? So, Lord very mercifully is going to answer this question. So, let's see text 40. The sitting places we know. These are the senses, five senses, the mind and the intelligence. These are the sitting places. That's the soul, center of all activities of the senses. It's the reservoir for ideas from all the senses that we get. It is the place it gets stored. Lusty, intelligent, it will keep pushing us to do whatever we want to, right? And it is influencing the soul also. And the soul acquires false ego and tries to do. So let's move to the next one. Tasmat tvamindriyan yadav niyamya bharatarshava papmanam prajahiyenam jnana vijnana nashanam. Hare Krishna. Yes, Neha Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Lust is the only perverted reflection of the love of God, which is natural for every living entity. But if one is educated in Krishna consciousness from the very beginning, that natural love of God cannot deteriorate into lust.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So Krishna is called the lust. Lust is the perfected reflection of the love of God, which is natural. Means what? Soul's natural tendency is to love God. Soul is pure by nature. So what is there in God's world? Nothing but love. But the moment it is perverted, that's lust. So easy, right? Love, lust, four letters. So Krishna is called the lust Nitya Vairi, or eternal enemy. And then he's telling us where it resides. So it resides in senses, mind, and intelligence. So Lord is going to tell us how to conquer, how to control and destroy the desire. Right? So he starts the shloka with tasmat. Tasmat means what? Therefore. So he's continuing from the last shloka. Arjuna, why therefore? Because Lord first describes about lust. Then first he said, what is lust? Then we understood where is it sitting. So now he's continuing, therefore, Bharata Shapha. I'm going to tell you the chief among the descendants of Bharatas. You are Arjuna. Niyamya. Niyamya. You have to, niyam means regulating. What do you have to regulate? You have to regulate something. What to regulate? Senses, indriyani. So when do I regulate this senses? So Lord says, Adao, in the beginning. Adao means in the beginning. You have to start from, you can't say, okay, let me finish all my sense gratification, then I will think about control. No. Cut it straight away. The moment you are doing something wrong, cut it. That is why niyam, regulation is very important, whether it's a factory, it's a school, it's a college, university, temple, any administration. Have you seen? Everybody has got rules and regulations. Because otherwise it will be chaotic. People will do what they want to do. They think they are the masters. They will start enjoying their sense gratification. They will start doing. They will do, this is the rule you have to follow. No, I will do what I want to do. This is what will happen, whether it is a factory, school, college, uni, or even the temple also. So that is why Krishna is saying, niyamya, regulate. From where? Beginning. Control the lust. So how is this lust? What kind of lust is it? Papmanam. It's the greatest symbol of sin. Papam. That is lust. And Lord says, Ya ehenam jnana vijnana. So what does it do? It is, Lord says, it nashanam. Yenam jnana vijnana nashanam, he says. So Lord says, it slays the destroyer, it destroys, kills. Nashanam. What does it do? Destroyer of what? Knowledge, jnanam, and vijnanam. That is self-realization. Destroys everything. We go down to hell. No point of reading Bhagavad Gita if we don't want to follow it. Krishna is very clearly telling here. So we discussed this before also, right? Where we were talking about when we go on the top of the cliff and we are falling down, for example. So if somebody says, where is it that we can stop? So once you are falling down, you think you will stop in the middle of the air by falling? No, you cannot. We cannot stop in the middle, right? So where do we have to stop? Right on the top of the cliff. That's what Krishna is saying now. Niyam, when? Now, adao, now, immediately. Don't wait for tomorrow. So here Lord Krishna is also telling the same thing. In the beginning, you have to regulate the senses. In the beginning, not once it has gone down the cliff. Then there is no point. You're gone down, finish, you're done. So what can we do about it? It is only by regulating the senses that we can curb this enemy called lust. Like, for example, there are two friends, okay? They're two fellow students. They go to the university, so they have to share a room in a hostel. So now one of them has developed some kind of bad habit, you can say. He wants to smoke cigarette. It's night 10 p.m. So he said, he's telling his roommate, you know what? I'm getting this urge to smoke. So the first one says, it's so late. It's almost 10 p.m. What are you doing? Sleep? Forget it. He says, no. I will not be able to sleep until I get one puff from the tobacco. So the second one says, first one goes to sleep. Second one goes out to search for the cigarette because it's not there in the room. Shops nearby are all closed. Everything is closed. It took him 2 hours to move around and find whether, he could find a cigarette shop which was open. Finally, he returns to the hostel and then he has that cigarette, he has that smoke. So morning happens and the first one asks him, so were you able to sleep last night? You were not able to find the cigarette? He said, yeah, I could after midnight. Really? So that means you could not stay without going out searching for 2 hours for a cigarette. And just when you had those puff, when you could smoke, then you can return to that peaceful state where you could sleep. So he said, why are you saying like this to me? Says the second one. Says the first one says, look, at 10 p.m., you did not have any desire for any cigarette. You were very peaceful then when you did not have that desire. Then you yourself created the desire. I want to have something. And then from 10 p.m. till midnight, you kept on searching. You were agitated for that cigarette smoke. Finally, after you smoked, that disease or whatever that you had created for yourself, that went away and you got to sleep. What about the first one? First one says, see, for me, in my case, I did not get that I did not even create any kind of desire. I said, I have to sleep means discipline is discipline, regulation. Rule is rule. I have to sleep at 10 means I have to sleep at 10. I did not create any desire at that time. So I could sleep peacefully. So we can see that, right? First one, he could not, the second one who was smoking, he could not curb his desire, lust. He was agitated. Whereas the first one, he curbed in the beginning only. He did not create only any desire and he could sleep peacefully. Lord Krishna is also advising Arjuna. He says, regulate your senses from the beginning. Don't wait, Adav, so that he could curb that Nityavari or greatest simple or greatest enemy, lust. And what does it? And what does the lust do? It destroys. It destroys the urge for knowledge, Gyan and Vigyan, right? Knowledge and self-realization. So it destroys the knowledge that is referring to that we are not the body but the soul. And it is destroying the Vijnana, which is, I'm sorry, it's going bad. Vijnana, which tells our soul's position and our connection with the Supreme Soul. So both are destroyed. See, so we know we are part and parcel of the Lord. We are meant to serve the Lord. And that consciousness, if we keep always with us, it's called Krishna consciousness. So Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, you bring your senses under control, Arjuna, then you can slay this enemy which is residing inside, that is called lust. So for this to accomplish, to get this, where to do, what to use. So higher instruments have to be used, right? God has given it to us. Now God will tell us what it is. Indriyani paranyahu, indriyebhyah param manah, manasastu para buddhi, yo buddhev paratastu saha. Yes, Rajshri Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mind in between senses and intelligence. Soul is ever higher than the intelligence. Intelligence is still higher than the mind. Mind is higher than the senses. Senses are superior to dull matter. Hare Krishna Mataji. No,
Hare Krishna.
the working senses are superior to dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence is still higher than the mind. And the soul, is even higher than the intelligence. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Sorry.
Krishna. So Lord Krishna in previous shloka, he said we have to regulate our senses. So the question that comes to our mind is, Lord Krishna is asking us to regulate the senses. Why not just control the mind, control the intelligence? Why only regulate the senses? So why is saying only regulate your senses? That's what Lord is telling, right? So where Krishna will tell us why regulating the senses is easier than regulating any other thing. So the inferior entity can be controlled by the superior entity. Like, for example, the manager can control the supervisor. Supervisor cannot control the manager. If he says something to the manager, he will be dismissed. In a classroom, if there are students, teacher can say something to the student. If student says something to the teacher says, okay, you do one thing, you just stay out of the class for a while. So that will what is happening. So that's what Lord Krishna is saying. The inferior entity can be controlled by the superior entity. So Lord Krishna is explaining the gradation of superiority, whatever instruments God has given it to us. He says body is made up of this matter, right? So it's lowest. Superior to it is what? The senses, the 5 knowledge-bearing senses that we have, right? Taste, touch, sight, smell, and sound. So we get information right from outside. Somebody is playing the music, I can hear. Somebody is looking very beautiful, so I can see. Somebody is making delicious prasadam, so I can smell, like that. So these are the senses. Beyond the senses is the mind, which it's the software. Brain is the hardware, mind is the software. And then there is one more entity, one more instrument above it. It's called intellect. So this intelligence, this has the ability to discriminate, right, wrong. Mind will feed something, and intellect, no, it's not right. Come on. Then mind will say, okay, boss, like that. So even beyond intellect, there is something else. It's the divine soul, which we are actually. So when we are in Krishna consciousness, the soul, where is it engaged? Always thinking about Krishna. Oh, I have to today. Oh, I could not pluck flowers in the morning for the Krishna deity because there were no flowers in the garden. I wish I can go to the supermarket or some place or florist where I can buy some flowers for Krishna. So the mind is completely engaged. When the soul is engaged, the mind will also be engaged. So naturally, if the soul is engaged, the intelligence will be engaged, the mind will be engaged, senses will be engaged, my eyes will be looking for the shop. Oh, where is the shop where I can find the flowers? Intelligence will be thinking, this is not the right color flower. Take that color flower. Everything is automatically engaged when the soul is engaged. It's easy to say. This is the hierarchy, and this is how it needs to be controlled. But is in this Kali Yuga, what is happening? It's uncontrolled. Even people who are into Krishna consciousness, so-called Krishna consciousness, they are also not following. They say they are into Krishna consciousness. They say they are chanting. They say they are doing so much. They are reading Bhagavad Gita, everything. They don't follow rules and regulations. This is what is happening, right? So what to say? So once Narada asked the Lord, where do you reside? And Lord told him, Naham Tishtami Vaikunthe. See, I am not in Naham Tishtami Vaikunthe. I'm not in Vaikuntha. Yoginam Hridayeshu cha, nor in the hearts of the yogis. Tatra tishtami narada, yatra gayanti madbhakta. I remain where my devotees engage in glorifying my activities. So you can see, if mind, our soul is engaged to Krishna, mind directly gets engaged to Krishna constantly, then there is no chance. Then the senses will become engaged in any other way, right? So that's what Lord is trying to explain to us. The knowledge of the sequence of superiority is what? Senses, then you have the body, senses, mind, intellect, then the soul. It can be used to remove lust. And Lord is going to explain the final verse of this chapter. Let's see. First, let's see different koshas we have. This is, the bodily platform that we are in. That's the outmost layer, the gross. That's the physical body, which has, we have blood flowing in our body, we have flesh, we have muscles, we have bones in our body. That, and how to maintain this body? We have to eat something. Annam we call, right? So annam is what we eat in Sanskrit, annam. So that is why it is called annamaya kosha. That kosha means the layer. Roti, kapda, or makan. We are thinking only about all this matters, right? Second dimension. It's pranamaya kosha, sensual platform. So it's the pranic energy, you can call life energy, you can call the prana. That the term is used. That is why it is called a pranamaya kosha. That term is used for a pranic energy. It is maintaining of the breath that we are taking, not just oxygen. It's just a vehicle of prana, the vital energy, whatever we have inside, whatever we are doing inside, that the breathing or whatever situation is happening inside, the prana, the vital energy is taking place inside. That is pranamaya. Third is manomaya, mental sheath, the sheath. It is the mind. And it is the thought process, what we are thinking, what action we are taking, what is the reaction of the physical body, which is maintained. So this is fed by, this whole thing is fed by thoughts, feelings, emotions that we get. And how does it work? First, it works through 5 senses. Then it will tell us, I don't like this color, but I like that color. So I dislike this color. So that likes and dislikes, all this happens in that mental level. Then comes Vijnanamaya Kosha, intellectual. Intellect, wisdom. We are getting some wisdom. Higher than, it contains itself knowledge, power of discrimination. Intuition, many say I have 6th sense, that one. So that 6th sense, or you can say the power of discrimination, that you get that inside. No, what I'm doing is absolutely wrong. I shouldn't be doing it, and stop. That is Vijnanamaya Kosha. And of course, 5th dimension is Anandamaya Kosha. Anand means joy, spiritual platform, complete bliss. This is the most subtle, beyond any explanation. There is no explanation. It's spiritual. Only very, very, very top self-realized people. It's closest to that cosmic light, and absolute truth. And once this kosha is awakened, of course, we feel blissful. Let's see the last shloka. Evam buddhiv param buddhva sanstaphyatmanam jai shatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. Yes, Krishna Prasad Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thus, knowing oneself to be transcendental to the material senses, mind, and intelligence, O mighty armed Arjuna, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence, that is Krishna consciousness, and thus by spiritual strength conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Now giving the whole process Lord Krishna has given, right? Now he says, Arjuna, even subtler that intellect also, the soul. And the soul is divine as such. So use your soul power, Arjuna. Use your spiritual power. The moment we start using our soul power, so we will be able to control the first one, that's the intellect. As soon as the intellect comes under control, what happens? When intellect will start, it gets aligned properly. Then intellect has the power to hold the mind in rein. All of us will experience this power then. Let's say we had an, instead of this online class, let's say we had on offline class. Like you will come in the, I will be taking class in the hall. You're all seated on the chair. You're all cross-legged and sitting. Will be that your most comfortable position? I guess not. Because when you're sitting at home right now, some of you must be relaxing on the sofa. Someone will be working in the kitchen. Someone will be sitting in the bedroom in a comfortable position. So do you do it or yeah? And can you do that when we are having offline class, right? Sitting in person in face to face? No. It is because intellect is holding the mind in check. Says, don't do it. It is not considered appropriate. I am in the class. Teacher is right, sitting right in front of me. I should be sitting in a proper position. So I cannot sit in a relaxed position, right? So what has happened without realizing, the intellect has already checking the mind. It is putting the mind under control, right? That is why, when we all go to the office, schools, colleges and all, most people don't enjoy office work. Given a choice, they would rather be at home. If we ask them, do you really enjoy office work? Very few. Of course, there will be some who are very passionate about their work. Some of them may say, oh, we don't want to go, but what to do? We are waiting for Friday, so we feel free on a Friday. Oh, at last the weekend has come. And then as soon as they hear about Monday, the Monday blues again. Oh my God, many people go into just depression only, thinking about having to go to work. Someone said, you know what? Don't call anyone on a Monday morning, because it's a very bad day to speak to anyone. So mind does not want to work. Mind is rebelling. Mind was like saying, I don't like it, but I would want to be at home. I just don't want to go to the office. I don't want to go anywhere. But then intellect is saying, no, you have to go. You have to keep working, whether it's office, school, or wherever it is. So how are we able to control this? Intellect. Because intellect is telling, if I will not work, then how will I feed my family? How will I take this responsibility? If I don't work well and lose my job, if you go into the job market, jobs are very scarce now. What will happen to me? So when intellect is deciding, it is very, very important for us. Then it is able to hold the mind and keep it under proper control. Then we continue working. That is all. That is what we all do, right? Even a small child, if you ask, do you think they want to study? And when I ask my grandkids, study, I don't want to study. I want to watch Peppa Pig. I want to watch TV. But the older kids, when the exams are there, I used to have students. The next day, even though the parents might be watching television, the student will be sitting and want to finish the revision. Most of the children, some children want to study, but most of the children don't want to, because intellect is saying, exam time, they will sit and study for sure. Especially my students, they would just before exam study. I think most of you also must have done during your childhood days. Exam comes and you will not budge out of your seat. You will sit and study, because intellect is telling you, if you watch TV now and not study, come on, you will fail. Keep on studying. So the child controls the mind with the power of intellect. So God has also given us this power to all of us. This He has not given to animals. In the animals, the mind dominates. And of course, senses also leading the mind. Animal cannot say, my mind is desiring this, but then today, you know what? I want to eat all the stuff from outside, but today is Ekadashi, so I have to keep a fast. Animals don't have that power of discrimination. It will not stop the mind. Ekadashi comes, mind automatically, intellect automatically tells the mind, shut, no grains. This power of discrimination is not there in animals. Intellect is not strong for them. That is given to us. That is why, if we humans, if we lose discrimination, we are as good as animals only. We can see in this yuga what is happening all over the place. Rapes, murders, sexual assaults, terrorism, heinous killings. They've all lost their discrimination. So Lord wants us to understand the power of this intellect over the mind. Even when I teach my students, I ask them to study. Oh, ma'am, you know what? I don't feel like man nahi lagta, my mind runs to Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. That's what my students say. They don't want to study. Mine says I don't like to study. The same student, when the exams are there, and when I'm invigilating in the exam room, all the students are sitting over there, and being the examination head, I will have to go and check whether everything is happening properly or not. And you see the same student sitting over there throughout 3 hours. So what has she done? She has brought her mind into check. Just imagine, for 3 hours she's focused. She's not looking at the other students' paper out of the window, just writing, writing, writing. And at the end of 3 hours, we literally, the examination in judge, she had to pull the paper from her hand. So how did she sit for 3 hours? The whole year long, she said, my mind isn't going towards studies. So what is the secret? How did this transformation come about all of a sudden? So the intellect has decided what is important. Now, the student's name was Prim. So the student was like, Prim, if you run around here and there, you will lose the whole year. You better sit, you will fail otherwise. You better sit somehow, answer all the questions, somehow or the other you will pass. At least you will get 50%, if not more. So once the intellect has decided, controlling the mind was the easiest thing. So the way, she had that razor sharp focus during her exam. Had she had the same kind of focus throughout the year, she would have been the topper of the school. Throughout the year, intellect felt studies were not important. My parents are thinking studies are important. Ma'am, they tell me to go to school. They tell me you have to study. They are highly mistaken. They don't know. Intellect is convinced study is not important. Then where is the question for the mind to put into studies? So whenever we'll go to study, intellect is going to pull it back. Hey, what are you doing? Mind, come on, sit, watch TV. Favorite show is going on. You can study later. Why? Intellect is higher than the mind. So intellect has that power. But if it can control the mind, then mind will be able to rein the senses, as we discussed, in that chariot model we did in level 1. Do you remember that chariot model? I'll show you once. Yeah, this chariot model. In this analogy, what is the chariot? The whole chariot is the body. Horses, they are the 5 senses. The reins in the mouth of the horse is the mind. Charioteer, the one who is holding the reins, is the intellect. Passenger who is sitting behind is the soul, which is residing in the body. Senses, the horses, they desire, they want, I want to watch TV, I want to buy, I want to do shopping, I want to go out with my friends. The mind reigns. It is not exercising, that it's not able to stop the senses. The intellect, the charioteer, somehow, it is okay, allowing. It doesn't want to, but like in the case of the girl, who didn't want to study, is not pulling the reins so hard. It's not pulling that mind. So what is happening? Ultimately, the soul, it doesn't know. how to direct this intelligence in the proper direction. It's not able to. So senses is deciding on its own the direction where the chariot is supposed to go. Soul is enjoying, experiencing the pleasures of the senses. Whatever senses are enjoying, soul is thinking it is also enjoying. Right? So it is enjoying, but it is not going to satisfy that soul. Soul is somehow or the other going to be sad later. That's not called enjoyment, right? So seated on the chariot, the soul, the passenger, it's moving around in this material world for lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. But if this soul, our soul, wakes up, how? By Krishna consciousness, and then becomes more active, takes some leadership role, you can say. It can be able to put pressure on the intellect, move in the right direction. So the intellect will then govern the lower self. What is the lower self? The intellect. Then lower than that is the mind, and then lower than that is the senses. The chariot will move in the direction where the soul wants it to move. If my soul says, I have to sit and do some kirtan for Krishna, then it will direct the intellect. Which kirtan is right now better? This Damodar Ashtakam or during Damodar month, that will be right. Or Radhashtami is coming, so this kirtan will be suitable. So intellect will decide. Then intellect will tell the mind. Mind will tell the senses. Senses, the eyes will start searching for the lyrics. So that is how it will move. So it will start doing, according to what the soul wants. So that's how the chariot will move in the direction of eternal welfare. And it will start doing chanting, reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, devotional service, right? Association of devotees. Srila Prabhupada says, by being in Krishna consciousness, the higher self, which is the soul, that should be used, not should, must be used to control the lower self, which is the senses, the mind, the intellect, and all. Right? Because he says, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktir Uchyate. So using the Rishikesha, which is all the senses, in the service of Rishikesha, means the controller of the senses, then what will happen? He will be able to help us control our own senses, our own mind, our own intellect, and person need not put in so much of hard work because Krishna is helping us to come to the platform of Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada says, for that, we need training. And training in what? Krishna consciousness. And it has to be, the training has to be done by some superior person, superior intelligence. That is under the training of a bona fide spiritual master or a guru. So this way, Krishna ends the entire chapter of chapter 3 and this section on lust by saying that please, Arjuna, use your spiritual energy, your soul energy, and conquer this formidable lust, this nitya vairi called lust, right? So he has explained how to discharge one's prescribed duty in Krishna consciousness. And of course, he will talk about Jnana Yoga in the next chapter. With this, we come to this end. Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Karma Yogo Nama Tritiyodhyaya. This we have finished the third chapter. Vancha Kalpata Yupesha Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna.